Hey fam,
Hello.
I'm Vanessa,
And I'm Lee.
and we decided to start a booktube channel. This is going to be our first video, and so we're going to start with the booktube newbie tag. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
So we have our booktube newbie questions, which I actually got from, and they were readers, so we will tag them. Please follow their channel. They are absolutely epic. They're a great friend couple, and it's just amazing to watch them with all of their reading chats. Our first question is, why did we start this channel?
Well, just hanging out like we normally do. A lot of the time we spent talking about books.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's where it came from, because we were actually doing it really informally before, talking about what did you read, or what are you listening to. So it just seemed like it would be interesting, like our organic conversations would always turn out like really good, like whether we're talking about different characters or books or what different people are reading. And for me, I thought that was like a no-brainer, because like we were already doing it, just sitting on the couch.
I absolutely agree. That's exactly how it really started. We just talk so much about books. We have such a passion for books. It was just like the next step. I mean, why not bring it over to YouTube and have like-minded people that we could have discussions with and share our passions with. Number 2, what is something new that you think that we could bring to BookTube? I think us.
Really, that's it. Our own individual like personalities and what we enjoy about reading and why we like reading.
I think our ages too. We're a lot of the booktubers are much younger, but we're in that midlife kind of age range.
Mature.
Yes, we're mature. We're seasoned. So I think it's really neat because we come from a perspective of we've got so much reading behind us, right? There's just so many years already of reading because our passion for it has stretched so long that we've covered a lot of different genres, and we've covered a lot of years of different authors, and so I think it's just something that is just, it's us, it's our experience, our variety of reading background. What is something that you're excited about starting this channel?
Traveling to new places, adventures, going to new bookstores I haven't gone to, going to cool libraries, not only the books that we're reading, but like for me, it's another level of having adventures and going different places that are like book centered.
Absolutely, and that's the thing. That's part of our name. We're book bound, and it's not just like book bound. Like we're going to go out there and we're going to find the books, and we are going to go on those adventures to find them, whether, like you were saying, libraries, bookstores, but also little libraries, and even just searching within our own shelves. I'm sure there are so many books that we're not just book readers, book lovers, but we're book collectors. So there's a lot on the TBR list, but that's okay because that's just another adventure waiting. Number 4, why do you love reading?
Helps me like escape, and you can actually go to another place like in reading and like hear the voices of the characters I'm reading, or take me to a different country or a different planet, or so just to be able to unplug enough to be able to be somewhere else totally like immerse yourself in a whole nother story. I think that's the best part of reading for me.
And I would say it's the same reason for me as well. Ever since I was little, I just remember you could be anywhere and you didn't have to leave your room. You can go to the free library and get a book that will take you across the world, regardless of, what your life situation is. All you have to do is just open a book and just delve deep in there, and you can be in so many new worlds, in so many new places. And, once you get into that, I think it's just a beautiful way to experience so many things that a lot of us, we can't just go to all of these places. But through a book, you can, and they just become like lifelong friends in that sense. Number 5, what book or series really got you into reading? Do you remember that first one that you were like, okay, this is for me?
This is so cheesy, but
I love it.
It
though.
was in high school, and it
Okay.
was like spring break or something. And every time I told my mom I was bored, she'd be like, "Go read a book," and I'm like, "Eh." So she read like the drugstore paperback
Yeah.
Harlequin books. So some of those are a little more. And I was in high school, so she
Yeah.
went and handpicked out ones that paralleled Disney stories.
Okay.
So one was like Beauty and the Beast, one was Cinderella, stuff like that. And it wasn't like spicy at all. It was
Yeah.
like, you know, there was the kids happening or something. But that like she handpicked them out for me, and all the
Yeah.
ones like kind of went in line with Disney. So that's the first thing I remember reading, and like I just was hooked after
Yeah, but
that.
I love that it was your mom who
Mhm.
kind of just went out there and just, you know, was the influence behind it. You know,
Mhm.
she was just like, okay, there's this bored kid, but I know exactly what I'm gonna do.
And then after
Yeah.
that, I mean, I didn't want to read anything else assigned to me in
Yeah.
high school,
Yeah.
but that I could read. But
I
that's
love
where it all
that.
started. Yeah.
I love that. I would say for me, I was 10, and my first book that I fell in love with, and it just took me away, and it was just so beautiful, was Anne of Green Gables. And she's just always been such an inspiration in my life. And then I remember starting a new school, and a girl that I met there had just read Flowers in the Attic by V.C. Andrews, which I thought was hilarious because before we started the video, we were just talking about that. We made a reference. But it was so funny because I read Flowers in the Attic, this little paperback, and I fell in love with V.C. Andrews. Amazing writer. And she just caught me. And then it was just like I remember reading like My Sweet Audrina and all of her books, and I just couldn't stop. I was just like delving into an entire world of V.C. Andrews. But those were the two, you know, it was V.C. Andrews and Anne of Green Gables by Lucy Maud Montgomery that really just started everything for me. Question 6. What challenges in becoming a booktuber will be the hardest to overcome?
And making time to do something for yourself and that you love and pour into something that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
Because other obligations, being the age that I am, I have other priorities. You know, family that you have, and other families getting older, they need more taken care of. But being able to make time and stick to a schedule to be able to do something that you want to do for yourself.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree, because it's true. It's about like being able to do something for ourselves, you know, and like you were saying the other day, taking that time to do something for you.
Mm-hmm.
And it does, you know, you have to work around life, because life is life and things happen, and there's so much, you know, going on with each life and everybody's responsibilities. But I think it's something that, like, when you really want to do something like we do, you make the time for it. It may not be something that's a consistent day of like recording and filming, but the release day will always be the same. I think one of the other challenges is just kind of like, you know, we're both kind of new into this whole booktube, YouTube creating things.
It's gonna be a little bit learning curve.
It's like I'm still writing letters, okay? So like I'm technology challenged.
Yeah, we writing checks. So
but it's all
that's
good.
Where we're
It's
at.
all good. We're real about this.
We're getting
I mean,
there.
we have a teenager behind the camera, okay? So it's all good. We have help. So that's a good thing. But I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a journey. And I think, you know, with each video, we're going to get better. So please just have a little grace with us. Let's see. Where do you read?
At this point in my life, where it's not regular play, like in the car, at home.
And it's not just, you know, the traditional sense of reading, like a book. You know, it's also listening.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you have that, like, that audiobook playing even on YouTube on a TV. So yeah, it's everywhere and anywhere that we get the chance.
Listening while I'm cleaning. Sometimes I'll go to a park just to, like, you know, unplug and decompress, and I'll either read or listen. Walking, listening. So
washing the dishes.
I know some people, not me, be listening to books at work. I wait until
we don't do stuff like that,
and I
just in
listen
case
to my
the
books
boss is watching. But we don't do that. No. That's the thing is just like at this point in life, you know, you just have to make the time. And even if it's snippets of time, you know, 10 minutes here, a chapter there, reading right before bed or while you're just doing your exercise or whatever, it's just constantly thinking about that next chapter. You know, you're constantly thinking about what is that character doing right now. So, you know, just finding the time to spend time with them.
But even with because I'll be reading and then it'll be to a good part and then I'll be able to listen like 20-25 minutes on my ride home from work or, you know, before I go to bed, and then I'll be able to pick up the story. If I, you know, download it, have a digital book, then I can listen to it on the way to work. So I try to fit it in anywhere I can, and it'll be the same book. I'll read a little bit, listen, read throughout the day. So I
think that's one of the best things that we've been given is the fact that now so many books in a traditional book form, you're able to find it in an audio book from the library, from a download, in an MP3 from a library, so you can switch back and forth like that and make it more accessible in those moments that instead of listening to music, let's say, you're listening to your book. So that is such a great thing to have now. Next question is, what does your book collection look like?
It's under construction and it needs a little bit of Jesus, but it's all over the place. I've moved a couple times, so we have some here, some there, some in storage, some on the desk. I've been downloading a lot of books, so the book is either on my Kindle, it's on my phone, so I just try to get it wherever I can, because people are like, oh, you're on your phone. I'm like, I'm reading.
Exactly.
But, you know, if I'm like waiting somewhere and I don't have my Kindle with me, I like that I can pick it up on my phone where I left off at, so.
Exactly. And, you know, mine it's spread out throughout my home, which you'll see, we'll be making, you know, videos on our collections later, but it's very vast and there's a lot of variety in it. Any kind of books. I just love books and I just like to have, you know, the different worlds kind of open to me. So, you know, that really doesn't matter like what genre, as long as it's something that sounds really interesting, like I'll go for it.
Because she's smart. She's reading literature. I'm reading other stuff. Well written other stuff.
That's right. That's right.
I like fantasy, so
it's
just like,
but it's great though because we have such a vast, you know, knowledge and variety of interest in what we're reading, so we can come at it from all sorts of different perspectives. Like it's not just one thing that we like and we're just bringing you one thing. It's so many different things that we've read from so many different backgrounds, so we have a lot that we can, you know, chat about with you guys.
But I think it's so cool that it's like some of the stuff that we read is parallel, but a lot of the stuff is so vastly different, but we're still able to talk for hours about books, even though like you're not reading the same stuff that I am, but even like me telling you like what I loved about the books, and then even though I'm
right there, I'm like, what happened? Oh my gosh.
So I think that's the cool part about it too, because even in us not reading some of the same stuff, we still I enjoy hearing about other people like discovering new books and reading what they enjoy, even though it may not be like my cup of tea, but it's cool.
No, and I love that, because that right there just kind of like, it just shows like the book world, right? That it doesn't matter what book you're reading, what's your genre, like you just, the fact that like you're a fellow book reader, you know, that you just have this same interest of just opening up that book and smelling the pages, and you know that first like cracking of the binding, like you know, it's like, oh my gosh, it's just wonderful. So to hear the different worlds that each of us are experiencing, I think that's beautiful, that we just come to the table because we know that we're into the written word, you know, or listening to it. It's just such a beautiful thing. Our last question, what are you currently reading?
I just finished. I'm late to the party, but I wish I would have been later because I need like instant gratification. Usually if I'm reading a series, like I need answers immediately. Yes. So I'll wait until all of the books of the series come out so I can just drop off the face of the earth for 7 to 10 days and just go through them. So I just started reading, I read Fourth Wing and then Iron Wing. And I was I experienced a lot of feelings. My feelings felt feelings. It was a lot.
She was going through it.
I was going through it. But when we were talking about it, it's not even like the fact that you can be so immersed in the story and you have these feelings from words written on the page.
Yeah.
So like the fact that like something that you're reading, something that somebody else's imagination thought up, can elicit like such emotions from you. Mm-hmm. Like that's the coolest part of reading to me. So.
And is Iron Flame the last?
No, I think there's another one.
Okay, so she's
there. I heard there's 5 more.
There's gonna be a lot. I don't know.
Yes, gonna be a lot. We're just gonna call or talk me off the ledge. My mother was concerned about my health. She heard me upstairs because I was going through some things. But that's the last one I read. So I think the next book comes out in January. That's it. I'm into. I like the fantasy, but dragons.
Yes.
Lions, tigers, bears. Yes. So I like all of those things. But I like romantic comedies, all that stuff. But right now, I think I'm more into like a fantasy reading. It's just fun.
I love that. I love that. Now, I'm reading 2 books right now. So I'm reading The Girl with No Shadow, and it's the sequel to the woman who wrote Chocolat. And it's beautiful and cozy and delicious because it's just their life after they leave their village that they were in. And it's, just Vienne making a new life for herself, and her daughter Anouk is now a teenager, so she's settling into her ways, and how it's really interesting because it's like they had this very magical life in their previous hometown, but now the mom is trying to kind of hold that back. And her daughter is trying to remember if what she lived before was actually real or not. And so, there's like this woman that comes in from their past, and she's kind of like reawakening these things in both of them. And it's almost like you see their life in a grayscale. Like if you ever saw the movie, there was like a moment where the village that they first went to was like very grayscale. And then, you see the mom walking in, Vienne, with like her red boots. And that was like the first flash of life in this village. And then gradually, everything starts to become a dash of color in each scene. And it's almost like you can see it. Like you see each scene in your mind. And it's beautiful. The other one that I'm reading is Walden by Henry David Thoreau, which is beautiful because it's all about how he bought this, cottage. And he went and he lived in this like cottage cabin. And it's absolutely lovely because he just takes you through nature and life and the simplicity of it, and how he didn't walk away from humanity or civilization, but he limited himself so that way he could truly and fully appreciate everything around him. It's a really beautiful book, and it has like an amazing perspective and on, like a sense of like what priorities really are, family, friends, and just seeing everything around us as like even the simplest thing is just such a blessing and so magical in its own way. So that's what I'm reading right now.
I love you so much. Did you hear her? She's cultured. And I'm like, are there dragons? You know what I mean? So, like, this is what I'm saying. That's what I love about, like, when we talk about books. I'm learning so much. You're like, Vienna and the culture. And I'm like, but are there bears?
But are there bears?
There's bears in my book. But, like, I appreciate some dragons and bears. Yes. But the beauty of, like, the story, like, you're telling. Like,
dragons and bears, nature. Right?
But I love like when you're talking about the stories you read, like as you're talking about it, like you're painting a visual picture or whatever, which is still that. Like intriguing, even though like
that's what I love like about literature, like we were saying earlier, it takes you somewhere, and you become attached to the characters. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but there's been many times, and I have many books that I could list off that I have never read the last chapter of the book, like even like of the series, let's say, like or like even if it's like a one-time book, I won't read the last chapter because I don't want it to
be over. You don't want the story to end.
Yeah, I just want to hang on to the characters for as long as possible because they're now my family. So it's like I don't want to let them go.
Yeah.
So that's something that I think is so amazing in literature, how it can do that when it's just it's words on a piece of paper.
But it's just, like usually when I get like to the last 2 or 3 chapters, like I kind of slow down or stop reading.
You have to like start breaking up with them, right?
I'm not ready for this to be over yet. Like we just got to a good place, and now like so it's just like so that's like I guess the power of like reading other people's writing.
Yeah,
that's what's so awesome. I don't know. I guess about reading why I love so much, and then even hearing other people talk about it, and like being in everyday places, and if someone sees you reading, they'll be like, what are you reading? And they'll tell you what they're reading. So like someone from a totally different walk of life, a total different age or whatever, and you have nothing in common, but your like bounds
All
or
of a
your
sudden.
similarity is with books. So it's just like one more thing that could like ties us together. So I think that's awesome.
Absolutely. And I think that's, you know, that's why we're here. That's why we're doing this, because we have such a passion for books, and we want to connect with so many people that have the same passion, and we want to find those people on our adventures. Thank you so much for being here for our first video. I think it went good.
Yes, it did.
Thank you so much. So if you like what you saw and are curious as to what's coming next, because
just
I
as
know
curious
I am,
as we are.
please like and subscribe, and we will see you soon. Thank you so much. Bye, fam.
Thank you.